The story begins in the dark clinical depths of a mysterious hospital. A doctor is seen carefully transporting a body to the incinerator following a failed secret experiment. His goal is to burn the evidence of their illegal work so that no one ever finds out what they were doing. However, a terrifying detail goes unnoticed. Despite the body being clinically dead, it begins to shake and convulse on the stretcher. Unaware that the subject is still showing signs of life, the lead doctor pushes the body into the furnace, leaves it to burn, and calmly returns to his duties. A short while later, a cleaner is passing by the room when he hears a strange, metallic scratching sound echoing from inside the furnace. Driven by a mix of confusion and curiosity, he opens the heavy iron door and peers into the flames. Suddenly, a charred, blackened, and burning hand lunges out of the fire and grips him. This raises a chilling question. What kind of experiments are being conducted in this hospital that allow people to die and yet remain alive as monsters? The narrative shifts to a young couple, Allie and her boyfriend Michael, who are driving toward the same remote hospital. Traveling with them is Allie's mother, Sylvie. The reason for their visit is a surgery offer they found for an incredibly low price. In reality, both Allie and Sylvie have always felt deep insecurity because their breasts are slightly larger than the average size. Because of this, they have spent years being the target of jokes and ridicule from people around them. Having finally found a cheap way to fix their problem, Allie and Sylvie are determined to undergo breast reduction surgery. However, Michael is completely against the idea. He believes that Allie is perfect just the way she is, and repeatedly tells her that he has no problem with her size. As the trio continues their drive through a secluded area toward the hospital, a wild animal suddenly darts in front of their car. Michael hits the brakes and steps out of the vehicle to check on it. He finds the animal lying on the road, mortally wounded and suffering. Realizing the creature will not survive and is in immense pain, Michael decides that he must act as a man of mercy and free it from its misery. But before he can do anything, another car speeds past them and runs directly over the animal, crushing it. Blood splatters everywhere, covering Michael's face and clothes. Because Michael suffers from a severe phobia of blood, the very reason he was kicked out of medical school, he immediately begins to vomit on the side of the road. Sylvie, watching this, is disgusted by his reaction and calls him a big coward. Eventually, they reach the hospital and notice it is built very far from the city for strange reasons. They have no idea that this is the same facility where the deadly experiments were being conducted. Upon entering, they are greeted by a doctor named Yana, who introduces them to her only companion, Daniel. Daniel is tasked with guiding them to their rooms. As soon as Michael steps further into the hospital, the clinical environment and the faint smell of blood make him feel dizzy again. Allie's mother, Sylvie, remains furious with him, openly mocking him for his weakness. In another part of the hospital, the lead surgeon, Dr. K, is treating a patient named William. Dr. K is arrogant, boastfully telling William that his experiments never fail. Soon, Dr. Yana introduces the trio to Dr. K, who is famous for these types of procedures. In a highly unprofessional manner, Dr. K begins checking Allie's body right in front of everyone to decide how much of her size to reduce. Michael is deeply uncomfortable, but he has come along only to prove to Allie that he will always support her. He has a secret plan. Once Allie's operation is successfully completed, he intends to propose to her with a ring he has brought with him. While Allie and Michael are talking, Daniel arrives and informs them that Sylvie's operation has already begun. This means Allie is next in line. However, Michael's instincts are screaming at him that something is wrong. He realizes the hospital staff is acting very casually. They aren't even performing standard medical tests on the patients before surgery. To his horror, Michael even spots one of the doctors drinking alcohol inside the facility right before a procedure. Michael begs Allie to reconsider and leave the hospital, but Allie dismisses his concerns. She believes Michael just has a difficult, paranoid nature and is trying to ruin her chance at a cheap surgery. To prevent Michael from causing more trouble, the doctors send Daniel to take Michael outside so he doesn't interfere with their work. While they are outside, Daniel makes a shocking confession. He only took this job because he can get free drugs here. Michael realizes that Daniel is a severe drug addict who has been hired without any medical qualifications or a degree. Daniel then tells Michael to rest for a while and disappears inside to get high. Left alone, Michael begins to hear muffled, struggling voices coming from a nearby room. He opens the door and discovers a girl tied up in a horrific condition. She is barely breathing and looks like she has been tortured. Thinking he is helping her, Michael removes her oxygen mask, but the moment he does, the girl's eyes turn feral. She lunges at Michael with animalistic aggression, trying to bite him directly. Michael realizes that dangerous illegal experiments are being performed on people in this hospital. Michael runs straight to Allie's operating room, where she is being prepared for surgery. He pleads with her to leave, explaining that he found a girl in a terrible condition downstairs. However, Ali and the doctors think Michael is just making up stories out of fear. Ali is so embarrassed that she insults him in front of the entire staff, calling him a fatso and saying she regrets bringing such a coward to the hospital. The doctors also become angry. They eventually walk out and refuse to do the surgery. Ali, in a rage, tells Michael he will never achieve anything in his life and threatens to leave him forever. As Michael tries to apologize and convince Ali to stay, total chaos suddenly erupts throughout the hospital. Doctors are frantically running through the halls, trying to evacuate patients because strange people have turned into zombies and are biting everyone. Anyone who is bitten turns into a zombie within minutes, and the infection is spreading uncontrollably. As the survivors run for the exits, Ali refuses to leave without her mother Sylvie. Michael, proving his loyalty, decides to support Ali instead of saving himself. As they move through the blood-stained hallways, they witness a horrific sight through a door. A zombie is disemboweling and eating a pregnant woman. These zombies are incredibly aggressive, driven only by a hunger for human flesh. The sight of the gore makes Michael's head spin again. Ali tells him they have to stay focused or they will die. Suddenly, a zombie attacks them from behind. Michael tries to be the hero Ali wants and swings an iron rod at the monster. However, in the struggle, he accidentally jams the rod into an electrical socket above a light. Michael receives a massive electric shock, knocking him unconscious and leaving him bleeding from the head. Now alone, Ali manages to kill the zombie and push it out of the way. She looks at Michael, noting that he is unconscious and injured, but she decides she cannot wait for him. She leaves Michael behind and goes out to find Sylvie. She sees people screaming everywhere as the number of zombies grows. To defend herself, Ali finds a liquid, fills a patient's body with it, and makes it explode, which kills the surrounding zombies and allows her to slip away. On another side of the building, two patients named William and Lena are trapped in a lab. They are too terrified to open the door for Ali, fearing she might be a zombie herself. Ali eventually finds her mother, Sylvie, who is still unconscious from the anesthesia. Ali quickly changes into her normal clothes and begins pushing her mother's bed through the hallways. She witnesses zombies eating pieces of their own flesh before they begin to chase her. She eventually breaks into a room where Daniel is hiding alone and doing drugs. Just then, a zombie appears and bites Sylvie. Daniel manages to hit the zombie on the head and kill it, but the damage is done. Michael finally wakes up after being unconscious for a long time. He realizes Ali abandoned him, but he still worries about her safety. While searching for her, he accidentally knocks over a jar in a lab, releasing a mutated zombie reptile. Michael flees and eventually runs into Dr. K and Dr. Yana. Now a group of 3, they search for the others and eventually find Ali and Daniel with the wounded Sylvie. Everyone gathers in a surgeon's room. Michael is relieved to see Ali safe, but the mood is dark. The surgeon begins bandaging Sylvie's wounds, unaware that they are zombie bites. Daniel notices that the phone lines are down, meaning they cannot call for help. When Dr. K looks at Sylvie, he warns everyone that she will soon become a zombie and they must tie her up. During the struggle, some of Sylvie's blood falls on the doctor. Yana suggests taking Sylvie to the pharmacy room to try different experimental medicines, hoping to find an antidote. They reach the pharmacy and block the door. Dr. K admits that he actually invented this virus and tries to find a cure, but fails. He eventually confesses that this nightmare was his and Dr. Yana's fault. Before he can name Yana as his partner, she hits him on the head and kills him, lying to the others that he was turning into a zombie because of the blood that fell on him. She does this to hide her own involvement. Suddenly, Sylvie fully transforms and bites the hand of the surgeon. The surgeon, realizing he is infected, quickly uses a machine to cut off his own hand to stop the virus from spreading to the rest of his body. Everyone realizes Sylvie is gone, and Michael is forced to kill the zombie Sylvie with his own hands. As zombies swarm the pharmacy door, the survivors escape through a back door and head for the roof. They have to cross a thin iron rod to reach the next building. Because the surgeon has only one hand, he loses his balance and falls to his death. The rest reach the building and arm themselves with whatever they can find. Daniel blackmails Dr. Yana, revealing he knows she killed Dr. K to hide her secret and demanding $100,000. Meanwhile, Michael is hurt seeing Ali acting close with Daniel. They decide to escape through a trash bin system. Michael tries to lead the way to prove he isn't a coward, but he makes a mistake that angers the others. They find another survivor, Lena, and save her. Yana then sets a trap for Daniel, luring him to a dark room where she claims she will give him the money. Instead, she lures him to a zombie she placed there, which bites him. In a rage, Daniel kills Yana. He hides his wounds so the others don't know he is infected. They reach the main gate and see the army has surrounded the hospital. The army shoots Lena dead as soon as she steps out, proving they won't let anyone escape. The last three, Allie, Michael, and Daniel, flee into the sewers. In the sewer, Michael proposes to Allie, hoping for one moment of peace. Allie refuses him directly, calling him a coward she could never marry. While trying to open a manhole cover, an army truck parks on top of it, trapping Allie's fingers. Daniel runs away to save himself, but Michael stays. To save her, Michael uses his glasses to help him bite and sever Allie's fingers to free her from the cover. They find another hatch to the surface. Allie goes up first. Daniel tells Michael that zombies are coming from the tunnels, so Michael stays back to fight them off. As Michael tries to climb up after the fight, Daniel deliberately locks the hatch from above, leaving Michael below to be eaten so that Daniel can have Allie for himself. Allie and Daniel escape in a car, but Allie soon realizes Daniel is infected. He tries to force himself on her, but she kills him and pushes him out of the car, then runs him over. Down in the sewers, Michael has survived and detonates bombs he planted, which releases all the zombies through the manholes and into the town. Michael eventually crawls out of a manhole covered in blood. Allie, traumatized and thinking he is just another zombie, hits him with her car. When she realizes she killed Michael, the only person who truly loved her, she loses control of the vehicle and crashes into a tree, dying instantly. Everyone is dead, and because the survivors broke the quarantine, the zombie virus has now spread to the entire world. And with this dark ending, this whole movie ends here. See you in the next recap. Thanks for watching.